It's easy to have a dream and have people supporting you, but when you don't have that support and you're doing it alone and you make it happen.
We're live.
We are live. Episode 3, baby. Episode 3.
Still not canceled yet.
Still not canceled yet.
Man. So, we got a special guest today.
We got a special guest, as you can see, right here.
Man.
In the flesh.
I'm going to give her the proper introduction.
Go ahead.
This is my baby. This is Bianca right here. We're probably going to take the last name out because we don't want people. You guys are creeps. We don't want people looking anybody up. Leave us alone.
Leave us alone.
This is my baby. She is an incredible human being. One of the most thoughtful people I know. I think collectively Liam and me can say that, like, one of the most thoughtful people we know. She's just very kind-hearted. She likes to have a good time.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
But everybody welcome Bianca.
Woo!
All right.
You are on the Lee and D podcast.
We're only 3 episodes in. So we're going to start off and let you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what you're about, and anything else you'd like to share. We're going to go ahead and let you start off.
It's a heavy question. You can take your time, bro.
My name is Bianca. I'm 27 years old. I currently work and I run a photo booth company.
Hey.
And that dream started off after my aunt passed away. She was really creative. I wanted to chase that and just have a part of her within me.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome.
What's the name of your photo booth?
Be iconic.
See what you did there. Clever. Naughty. She's very clever.
I'm a bee.
Oh my goodness. That's cool though. That's what's up. So how long has it been running? Say that.
So in October it'll be 2 years this year.
That's cool.
2024.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Most businesses don't make it past the first year. You made it past the first year. You did incredible. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Is this stuff pre-made? Is it custom made?
We customize our backdrops, our props, and everything to fit the theme of the event that we will be hosting. So yeah, everything is homemade. Just try to make it as close and as best as we can.
I feel that's a little bit more different than some of the more basic photo booths you get, because we've been to different events and the photo booths that we see is just your standard, the base itself, and then there's the plain backdrop.
Yeah.
Whereas what you're saying is it's more creative. You add more personalization to it based on the event, based on who it's for. That's really cool.
Yeah, we try to customize it and fit the theme. That way, throughout the pictures, that they'll look back and still have something to look back on, that it'll still fit in and just look like everything flows together.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So I know you said one of the big reasons that you started it was because you wanted to honor your aunt. Talk to us a little bit about, as you were growing up, maybe your creative side that also came out through art or different things that you may have worked on that got you interested in the art and crafts.
I think I've always just had a love for art, honestly. It was always art and music. Through anything good, bad, ugly, art was always my form of escape and just my peace and stress relief. So I've always just been intact with my creative side into my artsy side. Growing up, like, art was my favorite subject. In high school, I took multiple different art classes or anything that I can get my hands on. I just like to watch things come to life. You have a thought in your mind and just bringing it to life and just watching that experience, or even taking a video and watching it back it's awesome. I like that a lot.
So would you say that your expertise is more like in like drawing, painting, ceramics?
So I like all of them. A little, like, I dabbled in all of it, but I think
Not dabble.
I think my favorite till this day is painting. I just picked up a different interest not that long ago with rhinestoning things. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
That's
so
cool.
we'll see how that goes, but just chasing it down, just letting it go and see where my heart takes me from there.
That's what's up. That's
Yeah.
cool. What is the next step for you when it comes to your photo booth or art or anything in general, life in general?
So when it comes to my business, I think, without putting out too much, I do have a lot of ideas to come, and especially for our 3D booths. And just like different props, and even like customizing the tap to start screen. And if you have the photo strips, there's a lot of things in the process right now. So yeah, like I said, I'm not putting out too much on that, but that is something that's coming up pretty soon.
That's what's up. That's cool.
That is pretty
That's
awesome. As you're chasing down these dreams, what is something that keeps you going constantly? What do daily habits look like for you that help reinstate you in what you're doing?
Yeah, just knowing why I started the business and just the fact that I enjoy doing it, but mainly to honor my aunt. I think that has always been my biggest push. I have had ups and downs with it, but just knowing who I'm doing it for and that I love doing it has always just given me that push, and just knowing that there's more to come and get to just play with it a little bit.
like we said earlier on the podcast in past episodes, if you haven't seen him, go back and watch him and listen to him. Like,
Back.
come on now.
That way, go back.
How are you gonna start at episode 3 and not watch the first
No.
2? Come on now. Anyway, as we said before, it's the purpose and the why is so important, because that's the thing that's always gonna keep you going no matter what you're doing. Like we said before, like eventually you'll figure out like how, but if your why is strong enough and your purpose is strong enough,
Yeah.
then the how will come to you eventually if you don't stop. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's what we've been talking about recently.
Yeah, no, and I feel like everyone's gonna have difficult times, whatever business, or if you're going up the chain at work. I feel like everywhere you go, you're gonna have struggles, and if you're gonna chase something down, do it. Don't worry about what's happening, who's telling you to not do it, or whatever. You're gonna have those people. God put a dream in your heart, and I feel like not everyone's gonna agree, but he didn't put that vision or that dream in their hearts. So despite what everybody else says, just continuing to chase that dream and, you know, proving everyone that you can do what you set your heart to, and proving to yourself. That's the biggest thing, is just proving to yourself that you can do everything that you put your mind to.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So when you win at life, or when you do stuff, despite people telling you couldn't, what is that feeling? Because I enjoy that feeling. What is that feeling like for you when you're able to do something that people said you couldn't do? And what does that do for you on a mental level as well?
I think it's an accomplishment. That's something that you can look back at and see all that you overcame. Despite it's hard, it's easy to have a dream and have people supporting you, but when you don't have that support and you're doing it alone and you make it happen, those people will come back. So it'll show you that accomplishment, and I feel you'll just be glad that you never gave up on yourself. And it pushes you to continue to further yourself, further your goals, and just to trust in yourself and believe in your own abilities, which is always so hard to do sometimes, but it's always worth it at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other big thing about that is just keeping the right people around too. Because you can be doing good and doing the right things, but if you're not around the right people, things will eventually get off course. So I think definitely having good people around, having people that share in your vision, that push you to achieve, that's super important as well. Would you agree?
I completely agree. I've had people in my past tell me with multiple other dreams that I've had that it wasn't worth chasing down. So I feel like the fact that I'm chasing something else down and like having the right people around has made a huge impact, a huge difference. Having the wrong people, even if God puts that calling in your heart to do it, I feel like if you have the wrong people around, eventually it will mentally get destructive. Just because of all the comments that you hear, you could be doing really good, but just having those people around you, it's going to bring you down. So I feel like having the right people in your corner, pushing you, even on the down days that you're like, I don't think I can do this, having the good people around you, they'll lift you and continue to push you to do better. So yeah, having those people is important.
It's cool to hear like the come up story, all the good stuff, but I want to know like the bad stuff, because I know in business there's always things that go bad. There's always things you can't grow as a business, you can't grow as a person if you don't go through those walls.
Right.
What were some of the walls like? Because I've known B for so long now that she's grown as a person, and you know, some of the stuff that she does now, she'd be scared to do before. Like, it'd be networking with people and stuff like that. Like, not saying that she couldn't do that before. It's just that she's gotten better through time and through experiences, gotten better with it. So I want to know, what were some like struggles and walls that you had to break down, and like the whole journey of like just the business itself and all. We talked about the good stuff, but I want to know the gritty, like the fuck this, I'm going to do this.
Like I said, it hasn't always been easy, and I feel like when I had first started, I had Dylan supporting me, and so he was the good push into my life. However, I did have family members who, at first, weren't on board with it, and I heard a lot of criticism from them. It made me start questioning my own abilities. It's hard to do something when you're being questioned by people that should be lifting you up. So I feel like having some not so good conversations with people did put it down on me. And then around my aunt's birthday month, that did take a toll on me as well. I don't know, there's so many downs. And financially too, when I started it, I wasn't in the best financial place. But like I said, I had Dylan and the right people around, and then got raises, and I'm finally at a good position to where I do feel that financial freedom, and I feel like I am able to continue to pursue my dream and continue to make it better. So
It's really nice. That's really
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good at this podcast,
Hey.
aren't you?
Well, she was all nervous and
She
whatnot.
was so
Damn.
worried. I was like, take it easy.
We're just
gonna hang
chilling.
out
It's a
and talk.
comfortable environment. First of all, you guys probably can't see it, but what are those, dude? He's wearing watermelon shorts, dude.
pants, dude.
Watermelon shorts.
Water, you see the seeds over here?
Oh my
You're
goodness.
supposed to grow a watermelon tree inside your stomach.
Yeah, it's right behind
apparently.
you. Oh my
Yay.
goodness. Oh man.
Ah, how you feeling? Good.
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 Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by Sonic or anything. In case they do want to sponsor. Here you go.
Here you go, Sonic. Sonic. The Lee and D podcast. You know you
Sonic
want
didn't know. Sonic didn't know they would be on the Lee and D podcast.
some. Yeah, we didn't know
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't.
Oh my goodness.
We also have some. We have some interesting coasters over
Coasters?
here, right?
Yeah.
What does yours say? What does your
Mine?
coaster say?
Mine says, "You're welcome, asshole."
B, what does yours say?
Mine says, don't fuck up the table.
Mine says, "Don't stain my table, douchebag."
Oh my
Oh, man.
goodness.
That's hilarious. We love putting those out on the table and people come over and they're like, "The fuck? I haven't
Yeah.
even said anything to you. You're already insulting me, asshole."
This is the funniest because they'll be like, "Oh, thank you," and they look at it and you're like, "All right, fuck you too, dude."
It was funny just the whole way that we found them too.
Yeah.
Dylan had been talking about wanting some that had some pretty interesting quotes on there. And we ended up going to a bin store, the Amazon return, and he picked them up. There's some coasters, and he opened the box, and then he realized it's exactly what he wanted.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's how we found them. I like explicit things for some reason. I'm like just shit that says
For
like,
some
fucked up
reason,
shit.
yeah.
Things that say like even a welcome mat that says
Hello,
"You're welcome." Like,
motherfucker.
I don't
Yeah.
know. So B,
yeah.
or as I like to call you, babe. What are some life lessons you feel like you learned along your journey, whether it through business or whether personally yourself? What are some life lessons you think you've learned that you like to share?
I guess never give up on yourself. Like we were talking about earlier, just having good people around you. Sometimes that road does get lonely, especially when it's time to elevate. You gotta, if that crowd doesn't fit you anymore, just cut your losses and let yourself find the people who are going to help you grow and to better yourself. And I think for me, that was a really hard challenge because I did cut my friend group off and I did have to start fresh. I needed something different. I needed to grow and I needed to just focus on my dreams. And I feel like now slowly the right people are coming into my life. They're elevating me. They're pushing me to do better. So just having the right people around, but trusting in yourself and your abilities. Whatever you decide to chase down is never going to be easy. It's not. And so having that why is going to be a huge thing that keeps you going.
Right.
So just knowing why you're doing it. And like I said, even when it gets hard, just remind yourself of who you are, how far you've come, and why you're doing it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Why's you laughing for? It was great stuff.
What are you laughing for?
Why's you laughing for? I'm being serious. You were talking about friends and everything like that, and you guys have been in a relationship. So I'm curious, what makes a good friend? What is some characteristics that makes a really good relationship? And expand on that if you don't mind.
As far as I'll start with the relationship part.
Go ahead. I know it was a double header.
I feel like with the relationship, just understanding each other, knowing that you are two completely different people, two completely different paths. So trying to understand each other and respecting each other And then the big one is trust. And it's hard, especially everyone's path of life is different. So sometimes it is harder to trust, but just remembering that they did not hurt you and that at the end of the day, they are in your corner. So I feel like, I don't know if anyone wants me to share it, but sometimes we do have our differences, but we have talked to them, and sometimes it's nothing wrong. Sometimes it's literally nothing that he sees wrong, but because of my past life experiences, to me it may seem one way, and to him it may be innocent. So just having that conversation and just being open and just saying, hey, I don't see anything wrong with that. However, this is what I have been through. I feel like a lot of times people just, I don't want you to do that. And they don't give a reasoning why.
Exactly.
And I feel like for the person that you want to spend and grow with, you have to have those conversations. Like, this is why. And like, I feel like when people understand better, it's easier for them to be like, okay, I can understand that. I can respect that. There has been things that, for me, it's a learning curve, or like I'm trying to heal from things. And to Dylan, like I said, it seems innocent.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I have those conversations, we meet halfway, and that just helps our relationship. That helps me to heal as well. And it's helped me to like learn to love myself and different parts of myself that at one point in time I didn't even know I needed loving. So I feel like just finding the right person that you can communicate and be honest with, and then just remembering that hard times are coming in every friendship, every relationship. But you have to remember at the end of the day that it's you and your partner versus the world, not you against your partner. Like I said, your partner will always have your back. So you just have to keep that in mind when those times do arise. I think that's the relationship part. The friendship part, you have to make the change to attract what you want in your life. You can't say, I want a friend who has a good personality and you're super negative all the time. Because honestly, a positive person is probably not going to want to hang out with you if you have a negative mentality. So I feel like you have to become the person that you want to attract as well. It's not a one-way street.
Right.
And the good friends, they will support you. And whatever changes you are trying to make in life, I've had my fair share of friends who I had fun with. But I feel like when it was time to grow and start healing myself and my past traumas and stuff, I didn't feel like they took that seriously. So just finding people who will actually support you and who will push you to be better. I feel like a true friend is someone who will tell you your truth even if it hurts. Because at the end of the day, they want to see you getting better. They don't want to see you getting hurt. For me, I had a lot of friends who didn't. They watched me going down, and came a point in time where you got to put yourself in check too.
Yeah.
And realize that you're not.
You got to take responsibility.
Yeah. So I feel like you have to tell yourself that you're not in the situation you would like to be in, and just figure out the steps to get there. And I feel like when that time does come, the right people will come in, but ultimately it's just being who you want to attract.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good question, and that was a good answer too.
Thank you.
Good answer. Good answer.
The fucker thinks we're on like Family Feud or something. Good answer. Good answer.
From your side, I'm actually curious.
Okay.
With our relationship, or like a relationship advice.
The biggest thing I'd say, it comes down to trying to put yourself in your partner's shoes to figure out, based on what you know about them and based on how much you've learned about them, what is something that may have caused them to be upset, without you just immediately getting mad, and really trying to understand where they're coming from and putting yourself in their shoes. I think that is huge, because we've had our times where it's taken some time to slow down and go, okay, I understand where you're coming from. The way you grew up, that may have been something that you got in trouble for, or you got yelled at or something for it. Whereas the way we grew up, it may not have been that big of a deal. I understand that now. So I think it's really been understanding, and same thing you with me, understanding where I'm coming from. There are times where I'm working a lot and that I just need some time to chill or whatnot. And you've always been so understanding about take your time to chill. It takes good rest for you to get better, to be able to get up and do more. So really being understanding both ways, regardless of what the situation is. We're all emotional creatures. And the first thing we naturally do is we jump to our emotions and we act on them. But taking that few seconds or just a couple minutes just to stop and think and go, first off, is this going to be something I'm going to be mad about in 5 years? Probably not. Most things you're like, that was dumb. That was really dumb. But past that, it's okay, where are they coming from? Did somebody just get off of work and they maybe need to rejuvenate a little bit after work and just relax a little bit?
Rejuvenate.
Maybe.
Wow. Man, that's his
You like that
vocab
word?
word of the
You like
week
that
or
word?
something.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's right,
god.
that's right.
Yeah, where'd you get pulled that out from? Shit.
But sometimes it's about understanding. Yeah, it's been maybe a stressful day at work, and take some time to just chill. Like, really big understanding all the way around. I think that's been important for us. And we've come more on terms when we converse about things and whatnot after that.
No one's gonna ask the guy that's not in a relationship about advice. Coaches don't play, right?
Oh my god.
All right, so let's hear your advice.
Okay, so my advice is what I've realized in our generation.
Why you say our generation?
My generation, my bad.
I'm not that much older. Chill out, bro.
No, this motherfucker the other day, he was like, bro, he was giving her shit about saying that she was older than him. Not knowing that this...
No, I never said she's older than
So
me.
he thought he was, like I said, I'm 27. He started making fun of me for being 27. And he thought he was turning 28 this year
In October, yeah.
in October. And I was doing my calendar and I didn't believe he was turning 29 either.
So yeah, he literally had to call mom and was like, am I actually turning 29 this year? And my mom didn't even, no hesitation, was like, yes. Why are you calling me about this? Like, it was the stupidest
She was
thing.
so like disappointed with me not knowing how old I was. I was like, Mom, are you serious?
Damn, you're almost 30.
Get out of here, bro. Get out of here.
Damn,
Get
bro.
outta here. I'm
We gotta
not
get him
that-
like a walker or something.
You know the
bro.
funny thing? I feel like I'm like young. I feel like
I tell that to your body. I see you walking around. You're like,
the fuck
everything's
up.
like popping and breaking and shit. Yeah. He's like, my back.
it's only when I have the long weekends of moving shit and all. That's when I feel it. The next.
That's every
month.
weekend.
Literally.
My
I'll
knee.
get my workout in. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh my
Free
goodness.
gym membership.
I know. You just gotta lift some IP3000s. That's all.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's
These
wheel it back
motherfuckers
in.
are-
Everybody has childhood trauma, and how their parents have raised them is completely different. Not saying that parents are doing a bad job. It's just that whatever you teach your kids or how you raise them is how they're going to turn out. And so then whatever traumas that you have, you're passing that down to your kids if you don't deal with it yourself. What it is, you have to not really fix or overcome your traumas, slowly find the solution to them and like how to deal with them, so that when you go into a new relationship, you don't take those past traumas and then that person has their past traumas, and then together you just have a bunch of shit, like literally,
Yeah.
you know, that you can't solve or that you haven't solved yet. And then that's where the misunderstandings, like you said, that's, you're like, oh, why do you do this a certain way? And it's because of this. So until you understand that, you're not going to be able to move past it.
Right.
Like, you got to look in the past to see where your future is. You can't assume what it's going to look like.
exactly. And if I might,
From the single person, by the way.
it was a solid piece of advice, Sam. Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is
You
gonna
know.
get old so fast.
Oh my god. Like you?
And the thing about it is, it may not be your fault that you have those traumas from like family or whatnot, but you are still responsible for your own happiness and take responsibility to heal those traumas. I think everybody's got those things throughout the family that like people just do, or it's tradition or whatnot, and nobody ever questions it. That's what's so crazy to me sometimes. Nobody ever questions it. Like, you always hear the story about the turkey in the oven. You guys heard that story?
Yeah.
So there's a daughter, and she's cooking Thanksgiving with her mom, who's making the turkey, and her mom cuts off the head and the tail and a little bit more of the turkey and makes it much smaller and puts it in the oven. And the daughter looks at her and goes, "Why'd you cut that much off the front and the back of the turkey?" And she goes, "Oh, when I was a kid and we were making Thanksgiving, my grandma would always cut it." And so she went to her grandma and asked her. She goes, "Why did you guys used to cut off so much of the turkey on either side when you were making Thanksgiving dinner?" And she told her granddaughter that her mother, the daughter's great-grandmother, used to cut it off because they had an oven that was not big enough. And that's why they used to cut both halves of the turkey off to help it fit in the oven. And you use that same analogy in generation after generation and generation getting passed down. And just like the girl asked her mom, and her mom has no idea why, but she just knows that's what they used to do growing up. There's so many like family traumas, there's so many just different things like that. A lot of people have not questioned, and they just go along with it, and they just keep doing it because it's been norm for so long.
I feel like that's just society and like media and stuff like that. If you look at the news and stuff, Up until COVID, people, I wouldn't say believe everything that you saw, but up until COVID, they were like, oh, okay, whatever. Now, after COVID, they're like, okay, what the fuck is this? I don't believe that for a second with AI and everything like that.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
So it takes a person with good character to look within themselves to be like, check yourself, check your family, check, like, why do we do this? Why?
And it ain't easy.
It ain't easy. No. And none of this is easy. Like getting over past trauma, I'm not just going to try to push over that. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that you can't fully expect yourself to go into a relationship blank with nothing in the past, but you have to take the steps to find the solution. Otherwise, you're just asking for trouble. And then you wonder why you're stuck in the same cycle until you deal with past traumas and you find the solution or somewhat of a solution.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you're in a relationship, I still feel like you can find yourself. You will have ups and downs, and like I said, it does take a really special person to be able to heal with. But if you are single, yeah, just looking into yourself and healing your past traumas, whether that be family or relationships or friendships. But life isn't easy, so just healing the inner child, the person that got hurt when they were little or growing up. I feel like children are very susceptible to everything around them and the environment that they're in up until the age of 10. However, they grew up tends to be the mentality that they take into being an adult. So I feel like just if you feel like you're not in the right place, yeah, evaluate your life. And it's not an easy journey, and it's really hard and challenging, especially if it is someone that you're constantly seeing having to heal from or trauma from that person. It could be triggering, but reminding yourself that you cannot control other people at the end of the day, and that if you're working on yourself, then just let it go.
Yeah.
And just continue working on you.
I know you do a bunch of journaling and a bunch of that. So what would you say would be like a good stepping stone to figure out how to get past your trauma? I don't know if the journaling has helped you. Do you want to share that?
So typically what I try to do is look back on my past experiences and journaling through them. What I try to do is look for the good in those horrible or awful experiences. And trust me, it ain't easy because my life was not perfect and very far from it. But hey, you overcame whatever life threw at you and try to see what it was trying to teach you and using that as a building stone. I feel like nowadays people use that to be like, oh, I'm the victim. Because this happened to me, I can't be better, or it's easy to hold a grudge. And I feel like that's a normal human trait. I feel like people use that as an excuse as to why they can't get better. But then there are those people who have been through the exact same experiences who have used that as a stepping stone to get better. So just try to look for the good in every experience. So for me, what I've done is write the positive things throughout the day, or things that I would have told my younger self, or things that I can look back on, especially when you're having those tough days. It's really hard. Good positive stuff is what I journal. And it's not the same for everyone. I also have a separate journal for the testing times because they are very much there. But for the most part, I try to look at the positive and the good that there is in every single day. Even if your day isn't perfect, there is always something good in every single day. And I 100% believe that. I feel sometimes we take things for granted. So just remembering that your life is amazing. Even if it's not in a good place, it's amazing. And somebody out there would be so happy to switch you spots. And then another thing that I've also been doing is listening to podcasts, especially first thing in the morning.
Hey, the Lean D pod, baby.
First thing in the morning, it's the most important time. So what you hear the first hour of when you wake up is typically how your rest of your day will go. So I feel like putting something positive into your morning routine.
Is that actually something? Is that true?
Yeah.
Cause damn, bro, I'll be listening to some like dubstep and like in the morning, bro. It is like
so
crazy.
The first, I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
The first hour is called the theta state. And the theta state is what your brain goes through into the first hour. That's why they say never get on your phone when you first wake up, because your brain is in theta state. And what that is basically is you're awake, but your brain is still in this like kind of a dream state.
It's in the last cycle of sleep in it. Yeah.
But the theta state is what we are in as kids. When you're a kid and you're optimistic about everything, you're like, I can do this, I can do that, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. that state is the theta state, and that's what we are in the first hour. That's why they say when you do affirmations and all, do them the first thing in the morning, because your brain is more susceptible to receive it and you to believe it and hear it throughout the rest of the day. It's called theta state.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And learn something new every day. Tell you what. I'll tell you what.
So yeah, I think just what you tell yourself, honestly, too, that first hour especially is always so important. But like Dylan said, affirmations is another one.
Yeah.
A really good one. Typically in the mirror. So your words are very powerful. Just obviously don't go too crazy. So if I say, I'm worthy, then you'll start believing it, not only because you believe it, but you'll actually hear it back to yourself and you'll be visually seeing yourself. And then I feel like at first it feels like you're really faking it, but the more you do it, the more it really starts to take into your own personality.
Right.
And that does play a huge part. But yeah, so just filling good things into your head, outweighing the bad with the good. And then also our brains typically just go to the negative. For every negative, try to replace it with 3 positives. And then your brain will start to automatically cut out that negative. But slowly over time, you'll just be more grateful. And the more grateful you are, the more blessings you'll get throughout life. So
yeah, I was going to say that it's a busy day every day, and it's easy to pick out all the negative stuff that happened. It's very easy to point out that went wrong and that went wrong, but you don't ever look at what went well. And that's what we all struggle with. And it's just being grateful for the things that we have, the blessings that we have. And it really outweighs all the negative stuff. It really does. Once you look at it, you sit down and really look at it, it really outweighs all the negative. Regardless of how bad it could be or seems to be, I feel like the positives always outweigh the negatives.
Absolutely.
100%.
And if you can't see it, you don't see as many positives, and you need to.
That means you just got to work a little harder.
You got to work a little bit harder. And that's fine. We're all at different parts in our journey. But you and your buddy aren't going to be at the same place, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally. You're never going to be at the same place. You'll be similar, yeah, but you're not going to be at the exact same spot as someone else.
Right.
And that is the struggle for everybody.
And comparing is the worst thing you can do, because you can't compare your day 1 to somebody's day 100, because the difference is time, really. The person may be absolutely no different than you. The biggest thing is time. I feel like especially today, social media is people's highlight reel. You see what they want you to see, whether it's stress in their life or whether it's positive, look at this achievement that I have.
But you never see the stress, though. You always see, look at the flashy cars.
What I appreciate right now is there are some influencers that we follow who do share everything. And I appreciate that. I like no fake shit, no bullshit. Give me the real shit. It's a lot of shit. But I would rather have that struggle and everything, because you look at celebrities all the time and they got this perfect, glamorous life and everything. You hardly ever see the struggles unless they make documentaries and stuff out of them. But you hardly see it. That becomes more realistic to chase down than always being perfect.
And with like celebrities, you think that, oh, they have all this money, they have everything, but they have to put a facade on that everything's okay, everything's fine. But then like later on you read that, oh, they had a really bad drug addiction, or they died with overdose, or something ridiculous. Oh, I had no idea they even had struggles with this, because it's so frowned upon in that kind of business that if you struggle with something, that you shouldn't share it. But you got to share it with a therapist and go get right. But even then, going to a therapist, even for like any of us, it looks frowned upon. But it's not. It shouldn't be.
No.
To fix yourself shouldn't be looked down upon. And that's what's sad about this culture and this society. When you're trying to fix yourself, be better, there's always someone who's going to keep you down pretty much. And keep kicking you while you're down, too.
Yeah. And I feel like social media, as good as it can be, it also has its negatives on people. People do use it for bad, but I also feel like, as a girl myself, sometimes I get on and I'm like, wow, this girl is really pretty. It used to get me down and I'm like, wow, I don't think I can measure up. So instead, use that as, okay, she's really pretty, but so am I. I have this to offer and this, so I just feel like a picture can only tell 1,000 words, and you're never going to see the full story. Unless they post it, which is always great. But I don't think everyone publicizes the good, bad, and the ugly for what it should be.
Yeah.
And like I said, social media typically will put only the good up there. They're not going to show you all the grind that they did at night while everyone was sleeping or partying or having fun. You'll just see the good parts of it. Never comparing yourself, especially through social media, is not the way, nor in person. Yeah. Because you don't know how hard that person is working or what hours they're putting in that you're not. Just knowing that to focus on yourself is always so important.
They have that one saying, I don't know who exactly said it, but I heard it on a podcast. And they said, comparison is a thief of joy. And it's so true. But you can compare yourself from a jealousy standpoint, from an envious standpoint. But at least from a jealousy standpoint, you'd be like, oh, I want to be them. So you could be extra motivated. But if you're envious of them, that's when it takes away from your own life. Whereas if you're jealous of them, you're like, oh, I'm going to work to be where they're at and be even better than they can. Whereas if you look at it from envy, you're like, shit, I wish I was them.
Yeah.
You don't want to be someone else. You want to be better than that other person that you see on social media.
And you want to be you ultimately. We have enough copycats here in the world right now. You want to be authentic.
We have enough cats in general. We have enough furries.
We are down to our last 3 questions. Okay. Before we do our last 3 questions, how can our followers and anybody else listening or watching, how can they find you on social media, follow your photo booth? Go ahead, get you
plug it in there right there.
It'll also be posted down below.
I do have Instagram, I have Facebook, we have TikTok, and we also have our website.
It'll be posted right here.
beiconic.com, and it'll have also like a link that you can message me directly. So yeah, that's how you'll reach out to me.
Hey, you have the information right here. Better go follow her.
There you go. Exactly.
So we're gonna end the episode with 3 questions we ask every guest. And so the first one is, what is the best advice that you ever heard or someone's told you?
Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react.
So true.
I feel like there are situations you cannot control, and just learning to live and have peace with however you respond. And I feel like sometimes our emotions take over, and as a human, that's normal. But I feel like just once you understand that you can control only what you can control, and whatever you can't control, just let it be. Things are going to end up working out for you at the end of the day, one way or another, and it may not always seem like it, but it always does. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Very good. Very good answer. Second question, what is something that you would tell your younger self from the knowledge that you know now and the experiences that you've been through now?
Probably to believe in myself and my abilities. Like I said, I've had people in my ear telling me that I couldn't or that I wouldn't accomplish anything. Just believing in yourself and your abilities and knowing that what you set your mind to, you will and you can do. Those are the dreams that God put in your heart for a reason, and only you can accomplish those, not the people around you. And typically, like with that, I feel like a lot of friends or family or pretty much anyone who has not been in that situation, they're going to talk you down. And sometimes it's not even from a bad state. Sometimes it's because they have never been through that and they don't want to see you get hurt. But if you know what you're doing and you know your why is way stronger, then I feel like continue chasing it down. Don't take advice from someone who hasn't been in that position or someone that you don't want to switch positions with.
Yeah.
If I looked up to someone, I would want to take advice from that person. But if it's someone who isn't in that position to be talking, or someone who I would not personally switch lives with, and one not the other. So just believe in your own abilities and continue to push and fight for what you want.
Man, that's some strong stuff right there.
I like that.
That's some heavy
So
stuff.
if you don't have anything good to say, shut the fuck up, is what she's saying.
Damn. And that was aggressive.
Politely.
That was
Politely.
Hey, fuck off, but respectfully. That's what he meant. All right, and this is the last question that we ask everybody on the podcast, or every guest that we have. Based on your platform, based on where you are in life, what is something that you can do every day to make the world a better place?
Be the change you wish to see in the world. Like I said, you can't control everyone, and if you try to change yourself and it's hard, you cannot change others around you.
Exactly.
So I feel like being the change that you wish to see. For me, I just want to see people being happy. So if that means paying it forward or giving a compliment or something, you never know what people are going through. So just be what you want to see in the world, honestly.
Yeah, don't be a fucking asshole.
Don't be fake.
But, don't be fake. Don't be fake.
It'll start 1% at a time.
Yeah.
And maybe one day that'll change the world.
Hey, that's all it takes is one person, right?
Yeah.
One thing.
It is.
And lastly, is there anything you would want to share?
What's your final parting words that you would want people to remember or think about throughout their day?
Just breathe. Take a deep breath. Sometimes there are very challenging situations, and it's so easy to just snap. Sometimes just close your eyes, take a deep breath. Once again, remind yourself that you cannot control others' actions, and just continue to live your best life. Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you guys for having me on here.
We appreciate you being our first guest. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing a lot of personal stuff. We got to have her on. That was awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna. That was really good.
We gotta have her.
I
back
was
on.
like, at first, I was like,
She was a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous,
and then I was like, babe, you're gonna do amazing. Don't even worry.
a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
No, you did great. We're gonna definitely have you
We'll
on
definitely have
in
you
the
back
future
on.
again. We can uncover some more stuff. We can talk about some of our travel. shit.
Yeah, jeez,
Yeah.
man.
Costa Rica.
No, we then heard about Costa Rica. We don't need to go back there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We
We do have to
we
go
do
back
have
there,
to
but we
go
don't have to go
back.
back and do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you for being on.
Yeah,
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
having me.
of course,
For
of course.
sure.
Had a blast. And Sonic,
Hey, yo, you know what to do. Hey,
Sonic, make sure you sponsor.
sponsor us.
But thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much for sharing, like Liam was saying.
That's it, folks.
That's it. That's it.
Make sure you watch the last 2 episodes. If you're still on this one, you should have paused it and watched the
Yeah,
other
you
2.
should have gone back.
I don't know what you're
starting?
doing,
Were
bro. You
trying
gotta
to start
get it
an
right.
episode in the middle. What-
Man.
Dang.
But anyway, you made it to episode 3. We made it to episode 3.
You made the episode.
But to
Canceled?
make sure we're
We're
not
not
canceled.
canceled
No,
yet?
hopefully
Not
not.
canceled. We're not canceled.
But to make sure you like, subscribe, follow us. We got a TikTok and Instagram
Everything's gonna be linked below.
down below.
So, also, Be Iconic and Bianca's information will be down below too. So make sure you chime in with her, follow
yeah.
her, support what she's doing, and she'll be coming to an
And-
event near you sometime soon.
And lastly, it's been your boy Lee.
And in D.
And B.
Catch
Boom. All right.
you later.